Good morning. I hope you're well. I don't know if you've made any New Year's resolutions, but we're 20 days into January now, and if you have, I hope you've stuck with it. And whether or not you made any resolutions this year, I'm sure you have at some point. And if you're anything like me, you've gone into the new year full of hope and expectation, and then found that it wanes a little within a few weeks or maybe even a few days. Well, this morning I want us to remember the story of Abraham and Lot when they separate, and Abraham gives Lot the choice of which land to take. And you can read the full account in Genesis chapter 13, but just a couple of verses that I'll share, verses 10 and 11, saying, "And Lot lifted up his eyes and saw that the Jordan Valley was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, in the direction of Zoar." This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself all the Jordan Valley, and Lot journeyed east. Thus they separated from each other. And to me, this poses the question of how much do I really trust God? How much do we really trust God? Do we trust enough to willingly take the worst portion, believing and trusting that God can work out the future without our help, without our intervention, saying no, should go this way? Abraham received the promise from God, and then he walked his life knowing it in faith. He went forth with his nephew Lot seeking that promised place, and it wasn't a straightforward journey. It wasn't an A to B. We know we're going. It zigged and it zagged and it kind of wandered, sometimes away from the target that God had promised. But years later, when Lot and Abraham's families and belongings had grown enough that they needed to split apart because the land that they were in couldn't support them both, Abraham meets with Lot. And he meets with him and he says, "You choose. You choose the way to go with your people, and I'll go in the opposite direction." If Abraham hadn't trusted in God, and he hadn't trusted in God to do what was promised, he could easily have said, well, I'll choose and you get the leftovers. But he didn't. And Lot, of course, chose the best looking land. And Abraham ended up with the desert in the opposite direction. And it takes an extreme and a strong faith and a hope in the promises of God to willingly take the worst portion and know that God will work it out. And too often, I know in my own life that I'm like Lot. I want the prettiest looking land. I want the best solution now. And we don't always have the faith or the hope to believe that the better portion will come later. So this morning I want us to be reminded that God has a plan, that we can and we should place our trust and our hope in Him, because all things work together for good for those that are in Christ. God bless you. Have a great day.